Yi Sheng. It is said that there was a scholar named Yi in Huaiyang, Henan, but I don't know his name. His articles and poems were second to none at the time. But due to bad luck, he never passed the imperial examination. It happened that Ding Chenyi from Guangdong came to serve as the magistrate of Huaiying County. When he saw Yi Sheng's article, he thought it was unusual, so he summoned Yi Sheng to talk. He was very happy with the result, so he allowed Yi Sheng to study in the government and subsidized his study expenses. He also often provided money and food to support his family. When it was time for the subject examination, Ding Gong praised Yi Sheng in front of the envoys so that he won the first place in the subject examination. Ding Gong has great hopes for Yi Sheng's future. After the provincial examination, Ding Gong asked Yi Sheng's manuscript to read, and he applauded him. Unexpectedly, luck is limited to people. Although the article was good and bad, after the results were published, Yi Sheng still lost his reputation. He returned home dejectedly, feeling ashamed that he had failed to live up to Ding Gong's expectations. He was as thin as a puppet and as dull as a puppet. When Duke Ding heard about it, he called him to comfort him, and Yi Sheng burst into tears. Ding Gong sympathized with him and made an appointment to come to Beijing after his 3-year term and take him north with him. Yi Sheng was very grateful. He bid farewell to Ding Gong and went home, never leaving the house. Not long after, Yi fell ill and fell on the bed. Ding Gong often sent him things to express his condolences. But Yi Sheng took more than 100 medicines, but they didn't work at all. Ding Gongzheng happened to be dismissed from his official position for offending his superiors, and was about to leave office and return to his hometown. He wrote a letter to Yi Sheng, roughly saying, "The date for my return to the east has been decided. So the reason why I am delaying leaving is to wait for you. If you come in the morning, I can be on my way in the evening." The letter was delivered to the hospital bed. Yi Sheng cried very sadly when he saw the letter. He asked the messenger to send a message to Ding Gong. "I am very ill, and it will be difficult to recover immediately. Please leave first." The messenger went back and told the truth. Ding Gong couldn't bear to leave and still waited for him slowly. A few days later, the gatekeeper suddenly announced that Yi Sheng was here. Duke Ding was overjoyed and came to express his condolences. Yi Sheng said, "Because of the villain's illness, mister. Thank you for waiting for so long, and I can't feel at ease in my heart. I am honored to be with you today." Ding Gong then packed up his luggage and set off on the road. When Ding Gong returned home, he asked his son to worship Yi Sheng as his teacher, and asked him to take good care of him and live with him morning and night. Mr. Ding's name was Zikang. He was 16 years old at the time and could not write articles. But he is very smart. After reading the article 2 or 3 times, he will never forget it again. After a year, the young master will be able to put pen to paper. Coupled with Ding Gong's power, he entered the county school and became a scholar. Yi Sheng copied all his essays from the past examinations, and taught the young master how to read them. As a result, all the 7 questions from the provincial examination were included in the prepared exercises, and the young master came in second place. One day, Ding Gong said to Yi Sheng, "You used the rest of your knowledge to make my son famous. However, your talent has been buried for a long time. What can you do?" Yi Sheng said, "This I'm afraid it's destined. But it's my wish that I can thank your family for giving a voice to the article and letting the world know that my downfall for half my life is not because of the poor article. Besides, people who read can find a confidant. There is nothing to regret. Why do you have to put on official uniforms and throw away the clothes of a scholar to say that you are prosperous and lucky?" Ding Gong thought that Yi had been living in other provinces during the growth period, and he was afraid that he would delay taking the annual examination, so he advised him to go home. After hearing this, Yi Sheng had a miserable and unhappy look on his face. Ding Gong couldn't bear to force him to leave, so he told the young master to hire a supervisor for Yi Sheng. When he went to the capital to take part in the examination, Mr. Ding passed the Jinshi examination and was appointed to take charge of the ministry. When he took office, he took Yi Sheng with him and sent him to the Imperial Academy to study, and stayed with him morning and night. A year later, Yi Sheng took the Shunqin Prefecture Township examination and finally passed the examination. When Mr. Ding was assigned to take charge of Nan official affairs, he said to Yi Sheng, "This is not far from your hometown. Mr. Ding has achieved success and fame. How happy it will be to return home in glory." Yi Sheng was also very happy. They chose an auspicious day to set out on the road. When they arrived at the border of Huaiying County, Mr. Ding sent a servant to escort Yi Sheng back home in a carriage. When Yi Sheng got off the bus at home, he felt very sad when he saw that his house was very depressed. He walked slowly to the yard. The wife just came out of the house with a dustpan. Suddenly, she saw Yi Sheng, and was so frightened that she threw the dustpan away and left. Yi Sheng said miserably, "I have been elected now. We haven't seen each other for only 3 or 4 years. Why don't you recognize me?" His wife stood in the distance and said to him, "You have been dead for a long time. Why do you say you are a distinguished person? Where is your coffin? The reason why your coffin has been lying there without being buried is because your family is poor and your son is too young. Now that your son Ada has grown up, he is about to choose a cemetery for you to be buried. Please don't cause trouble to scare the living people." After hearing these words, Yi Sheng looked very sad and annoyed. He slowly entered the house and saw that his coffin was still there, so he threw himself on the ground and disappeared. The wife looked at him in horror, and saw Yi Sheng's clothes, hat, shoes, and socks falling on the ground. She was so sad that she picked up the clothes on the ground and cried sadly. The son came back from school and saw a carriage tied in front of the door. He asked about the origin of the driver and was so frightened that he ran to tell his mother. The mother shed tears and told her son what she had seen. The two women carefully questioned the servant who escorted Yi Sheng, and then they learned the whole story. The servant returned and reported the truth to his master. Mr. Ding heard that his clothes on his chest were soaked with tears. He immediately rode a carriage and rushed to Yi Sheng's mourning hall to pay his respects. He paid for the tomb repair and funeral, and buried Yi Sheng with a funeral ceremony. He also gave a lot of money to Yi Sheng's son, and hired a teacher to teach him. Later, Mr. Ding recommended Yi Sheng's son to the scholar envoy. And Yi Sheng's son entered the county to study, and became a scholar the next year.